My grandmother always went to school with me because the school was attached to the temple. The priest taught us the alphabet and the morning prayer, while the children sat in rows on either side of the veranda, singing the alphabet or the prayer in the chorus. My grandmother sat aside reading the scriptures. When we had both finished, we would walk back together. This time, the village dogs would meet us at the temple door. They followed us to our home, growling and fighting with each other for the chapatis we threw to them. When my parents were comfortably settled in the city, they sent for us. That was a turning point in our friendship. Although we shared the same room, my grandmother no longer came to school with me. I chose to go to an English school in a motor bus. There were no dogs in the streets and she looked to feeding sparrows in the courtyard of our city house. Arthur's grandmother would accompany him to the school as the temple was attached to the school, and she used to visit the temple daily. On one side, he would sit on the veranda with other children, would sing the alphabet and prayer in the chorus. On the other hand, she would sit in the temple to read the scriptures. After finishing, they would walk back home together. The village dogs met them at the village door. They would follow them to their home, growling and fighting with each other for the stale chapatis that she fed them. When his parents got settled in the city, they called them. That was the turning point of his friendship with his mother. They shared the same room, but she no longer would give him company to his school. He started going to an English medium school, and a motor bus would come to pick and drop him. There were no dogs in the streets whom she could feed as she did in the village, so she started feeding sparrows in the veranda for their house. As the years rolled by, we saw less of each other. For some time, she continued to wake me up and get me ready for school. When I came back, she would ask me what the teacher had taught me. I would tell her English words and little things of Western science and learning, the law of gravity, Archimedes' principle, the world being round, etc. This made her unhappy. She could not help me with my lessons. She did not believe in the things they taught at the school and was distressed that there was no teaching about God and the scriptures. One day I announced that we were being given music lessons. She was very disturbed to her music had lewd associations. It was the monopoly of her lords and beggars and not meant for gentlefolk. She said nothing, but her silence meant disapproval. She rarely talked to me after that. As the years passed in the city, their interaction reduced. For some time, she continued to wake him up and would get him ready for school. She would ask him what he had learned in the school that day. The scientific technology and English words made her unhappy. As she did not know the language, she could not help him with the lessons. As his new school never taught him about God and religious scriptures, this made her sad. She did not approve of such an education. When she came to know that he was getting music lessons, it disturbed her. According to her, music was in, indecent. Music was indecent and it was an art of the beggars and prostitutes and not for those belonging to decent families. She did not like that he learned music, so she stopped talking to him. When I went up to university, I was given a room of my own. The common link of friendship was snapped. My grandmother accepted her seclusion with resignation. She rarely left her spinning wheel to talk to anyone. From sunrise to sunset, she sat by her wheel spinning and reciting prayers. Only in the afternoon she relaxed for a while to feed the sparrows. While she sat in the veranda breaking the bread into little bits, hundreds of little birds collected round her and creating a veritable bedlam of chirrups. Some came and perched on her legs, other on her shoulders. Some even sat on her head. She smiled but never shooed them away. It is used to be the happiest half hour of the day of her. As the author went to university, he had a room of his own. The common link of his friendship with his grandmother that they had when they shared the same room was changed now, and thus his friendship was her ended. She became more private and spent her whole day spinning wheel. From sunrise to sunset, she would sit and silently recite her prayers. In the afternoon, she used to feed the sparrows in the veranda, breaking the bread into small pieces. She would feed hundreds of birds. The birds would gather around her. Some sat near her, some on her legs, some on her shoulders, and few on her head. She never showed them, but always smiled. She was the happiest in that half an hour during the whole day. When I decided to go abroad for further studies, I was sure my grandmother would be upset. I would be away for 5 years, and at her age, one could never tell. But my grandmother could. She was not even sentimental, but came to leave me at the railway station, but did not talk to show any emotion. Her lips moved in prayer, her mind was lost in prayer, her fingers were busy telling the beads of her rosary. Suddenly, she kissed my forehead, and when I left, I cheered the most imprint as perhaps the last sign of physical contact between us. But that was not so. After 5 years, I came back home and was met by her at the station. She did not look a day older. She still had no time for words, and while she clasped me in her arms, I could her I could hear her reciting her prayers. Even on the first day of my arrival, her happiest moments were with her sparrows, whom she fed longer, and with fabulous rebukes. When the author decided to go abroad for further studies, he believed it would be the last time he would see her as he would be gone for long 5 years. As they all reached the station, she held him tightly and kissed her forehead. He thought it was the last physical contact with her. The wet impression of her hand was dear to him. She was not sentimental at all when she came back after 5 years. She came to meet him at the station. She looked just way she did 5 years ago. मतलब वो जैसा मतलब लेख जब आर्थर जब वो उसको छोड़ करके हायर एजुकेशन के लिए गया था और जब वो वापस आया तो वो उसी कंडीशन में थी कि जैसा कि वो पहले थी, मतलब उनके चेहरे में किसी तरह का बदलाव मुझे नज़र नहीं आया. Not a day older. She held him again in her arm and was still reciting her prayers. He noticed on the first day of his arrival that only sparrows would make her happy. मतलब जब वो वापस आया तो आर्थर को ने ये पाया कि इतने इतने 5 सालों मतलब कि इतने सालों में, 5 सालों में जब वो बाहर गया हुआ था, तो उसकी दादी माँ को खुशी के लिए सिर्फ वो जब वो चिड़ियों को दाना खिलाती थी, ब्रेड खिलाती थी, तो वो बस उन्हें खुशी देता था, बाकी और कुछ नहीं। मतलब लेखक की जो दादी थी, वो लेखक से काफ़ी उनका लगाव था और वो उसके साथ काफ़ी खुश रहती थी। लेकिन उसके चले जाने के बाद जो है, बस आधे घंटे का जो वो समय था, वही उनको काफ़ी खुश रखता था, जब वो चिड़ियों को खिलाती थी और उनका पेट भरती थी। उसी समय वो काफ़ी खुश नज़र आती थी और वो स्माइल करती थी।